Radio 2.
Good morning, Avids, and welcome to an edition of the show with a difference. We're calling this One Thing Leads to Another, and in each hour, every disc will have some sort of connection with the one that follows. So let's begin with the Springfields hit from 1962, Island of Dreams. Much-loved group the Springfields, with the first of two singles in the UK, which both peaked at number 5. Formed in 1960, the group originally consisted of Tom and Dusty Springfield and Tim Field, but by the time the hits came, Tim had gone and was replaced by Mike Longhurst Pickworth, who sensibly abbreviated his name to Mike Hurst. When the group split up in 1963, Mike established himself as a record producer through his work with Cat Stevens.
Late for Matthew and Son, he won't wait. Watch them run down to platform 1 and the 8:30 train to Matthew and Son. Matthew and Son, the work's never done, there's always something new. The files in your hand, you take them to bed, you're never ever through. And they've been working all day, all day, all day. There's a 5-minute break, and that's all you take for a cup of cold coffee and a piece of cake. Matthew and Son, the work's never done, there's always something new. In your hand, you take them to bed, you're never ever through. And they've been working all day, all day, all day. He's He's got people who've been working for 50 years. No one asks for more money, cause nobody dares, even though they're pretty low and their rent's in arrears. Matthew and Sam, Matthew and Sam, Matthew and Sam, Matthew and Sam. And they've been working all day, all day, all day. Matthew and Sam, Matthew and Sam, Matthew and Sam.
Cat Stevens' second hit and first to make the top 10. He not only wrote his own songs, but had them covered by other artists, including P.P. Arnold, who'd been a backing singer in the States as a member of Ike and Tina Turner's Ikeettes. She then came to live in the UK and was signed by Andrew Oldham to his immediate label, where her biggest hit was with Cat Stevens' composition, The First Cut is the Deepest.
Given you all of my heart, but there's someone who's torn it apart, and he's taken almost all that I've got. But if you wanna try to love again, baby, try to love again.
P.P. Arnold, who in 1967 was the first solo artist to score a top 20 hit with a cover of a Cat Stevens song. But before that, a group which had a big hit with another of his songs was the Tremeloes. When their lead singer Brian Poole left them, this was their first hit for their new label CBS, UK number 4, and top 20 in the US, with worldwide sales of over 1 million copies. Here Comes My Baby.
come now. Walking with a love that's oh so fine. Never to be mine, no matter how I try. You never walk alone, and you're forever talking on the phone. I tried to call you names, but every time it comes out the same. Here comes my baby, here she comes now, and that comes as no surprise to me. With another guy, well, here comes my baby, here she comes now. Walking with a love that's so, so fine. Never to be mine, no matter how I try. Here comes my baby, here she comes now, and then comes as no surprise to me. With another guy, well, here comes my baby, here she comes now. Walking with a love that's oh so fine. I'm never to be mine, no matter how I try.
Well, after that big hit, the Tremeloes were in a dilemma over what to record as a follow-up. Should they do another up-tempo song or try a change of direction? They finally settled on a song they'd been performing in their stage act to great reaction, and it gave them their only number one, Silence is Golden, which they'd found on the B-side of the Four Seasons 1964 smash, Rag Doll.
Rag
The Four Seasons Rag Doll, which had been kept on the number one spot in the UK by Herman's Hermits' I'm Into Something Good, but the Four Seasons weren't concerned, as it had given them their fourth American number one. They'd started in 55 as the Variations and changed that to the Four Lovers, and had been doing session work for Bob Crewe, who owned several labels and publishing and production companies. Together with a number of session musicians, he achieved a US top 20 hit himself in 1967 as the Bob Crewe Generation, with this version of Music to Watch Girls By. A song which had initially been helped on its way in a long-running television commercial for a famous fizzy drink. And the following year, with a lyric added, it became a top 40 hit in the UK for Andy Williams, who earlier in 63 had scored a number 2 on both sides of the Atlantic with Can't Get Used to Losing You.
Guess there's no use in hanging round. Guess I'll get dressed and do the town. I'll find some crowded avenue, though it will be empty without you. Can't get used to losing you no matter what I try to do. Gonna live my whole life through loving you. Call up some girl I used to know. After I heard her say hello, I couldn't think of anything to say. Since you're gone, it happens every day. Can't get used to losing you no matter what I try to do. Gonna live my whole life through loving you.
my kid, only me. 'Cause no one else could take your place. Guess that I am just a hopeless case. Can't get used to losing you no matter what I try to do. Gonna live my whole life through loving you. I can't get used to losing you no matter what I try to do. Gonna live my whole life through loving you.
Andy Williams held off number one in the States for 4 weeks with that one by the Chiffons, He's So Fine, and then for 2 more weeks by little Peggy March with I Will Follow Him. In the UK, for the 1 week Andy was at number 2, the Beatles were at number 1 with From Me to You. 2 years earlier, his recording of Henry Mancini's Moon River had been extremely popular in the US, but failed to make the charts in the UK at all, as his namesake, the little-known South African singer Danny Williams, shot to number 1 with his cover.
Crossing you in style someday. Old dream maker, you heartbreaker, wherever you're going, I'm going your way. Such a lot of world to see. We're after the same rainbows and waiting round the bend. My huckleberry friend.
Coming up to Christmas 1961, there was doubt that Danny Williams would reach number 1, as there was such a big seller at the top of the charts. However, on December the 30th, after it had been 4 weeks at the top, Danny replaced this big hit for Frankie Vaughan.
If I were a tower of strength, I'd walk away. I'd look in your eyes, and here's what I'd say. I don't want you, I don't need you, I don't love you anymore. And I'd walk out the door, and you'd be down on your knees, and you'd be calling to me. But a tower of strength is something I'll never be.
If I were a tower of strength, I'd watch you cry. I'd laugh at your tears and tell you goodbye. I don't want you. I don't need you. I don't love you anymore. And I'd walk out the door. You'd be down on your knees. And you'd be calling to me. But a tower of strength is something I'll never be. No, I don't want you. I don't need you. I don't love you anymore. And I'd walk out the door. You'd be down on your knees. Yeah, you'd be calling to me. But a tower of strength is something I'll never be. Well, a tower of strength is something I'll never be.
It had been 4 years since Frankie had last had a number one in 1957 with The Garden of Eden, and Tower of Strength was his second and last chart topper. It was written by Bob Hilliard and Burt Bacharach, who was yet to establish his own style of composition and thought Frankie's version of the song too brash and hurried after the original US top 10 hit by Gene McDaniels. From 1962, here's Gene's fourth American top 10 hit, Spanish Lace.
She was standing there, so beyond compare, in Spanish lace. My heart touched the sky, captivated by her angel face. Dancing 'neath the moon, I soon discovered the new world that lovers always find. When I saw her there, so beyond compare, in Spanish lace. We danced away the night until the morning light said time to go. I knew we'd have to part, such sadness filled my heart. I loved her so. And now that love has flown, alone I think of the heartache that I will have to face. Dreaming of that night, the stars that shone so bright, and Spanish lace. And now that love has flown, alone I think of the heartache that I will have to face. Dreaming of that night, and stars that shone so bright, and Spanish lace. Dreaming of that night, and stars that shone so bright, and Spanish lace. Dreaming of that night, and stars that shone so bright, and Spanish lace.
A Gene McDaniels US hit written by Thomas and Schumann and featuring, as had his other hits, backing by the Johnny Mann Singers, who in 1967 had a hit in their own right that gave the Fifth Dimension later on their first US top 10 hit, Up, Up and Away.
Would you like to ride in my beautiful balloon? Would you like to ride in my beautiful balloon? We could float among the stars together, you and I. Oh, we can fly, we can fly.
In demand backing singers for many artists are Johnny Mann singers, who also made jingles for TV commercials, while Johnny arranged music for movies and also provided one of the voices of the Chipmunks. The Mann singer's only hit had been written by prolific composer Jim Webb, who was responsible for such classics as MacArthur Park. Here's one of several hits he wrote for Glen Campbell, By the Time I Get to Phoenix.
By the time I get to Phoenix, she'll be rising. She'll find the note I left hanging on her door. She'll laugh when she reads the part that says I'm leaving. 'Cause I've left that girl so many times before. By the time I make Albuquerque, she'll be working. She'll probably stop at lunch and give me a call. But she'll just hear that phone keep on ringing off the wall. That's all. By the time I make Oklahoma, she'll be sleeping. She'll turn softly, call my name out low, and she'll cry just to think I'd really leave her. Though time and time I've tried to tell her so, she just didn't know I would really go.
The first of several hits Jim Webb wrote for Glen Campbell was a song first offered to the Temptations, who rejected it on the grounds that it had no chorus. Maybe, but it's become a standard recorded by dozens of acts, including the Temptations themselves. Glen had previously been working as a top session musician and briefly replaced Brian Wilson on a few of the Beach Boys tours. So guess where we're going next?
Well, I walked up to her and I asked her if she wanted to dance. She looked awful nice, so I hope she might take a chance. When we danced, I held her tight.
Beach Boys with a disc that reached number 4 in the UK but was never released as a single in the States because their record company thought it had been a big enough hit 4 years earlier as Then He Kissed Me by the Crystals. They were the group whose name was owned by Phil Spector, who could and did use who he liked to sing on their records, including Darlene Love, who sang on their debut UK hit, written by Gene Pitney.
The way he walks down the street, watch the way he shuffles his feet. My oh, his head up high when he goes walking by. He's my guy, and he holds my hand, I'm so proud, 'cause he's not just one of the crowd. My baby always the one to try the thing they've never done, and just because of that he's a rebel and he'll never ever be any good. He's a rebel 'cause he never ever does what he should do, just because he doesn't do what everybody else does. Oh, that's no reason why I can't give him all my love. He is always good to me, always treats me tenderly, 'cause he's my rebel, no, no, no. He's my rebel, no, 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 to me. If they don't like him that way, they won't like me after today. And I'll be standing right by his side when they say he's a rebel and he'll never ever be any good. He's a rebel 'cause he never ever does what he should do, just because he doesn't do what everybody else does. Oh, that's no reason why we can't share a love. He is always good to me, good to him I try to be, 'cause he's not rebel, no, no, no. He's not rebel, no, 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 to me. Oh, he's not rebel, no, 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 rebel, no,
Darlene Love was lead singer with the Blossoms, who were the group used by Spector as the Crystals when he was desperate to get a version of that disc out, having learned that Vicky Carr was going to record it. Two other session singers who met whilst working for Spector were Cheryline Circassian Lapierre and Salvatore Philip Bono, who married and found recording fame as Sonny and Cher.
baby, don't go. Pretty baby, please don't go. I never had a mother, I hardly knew my dad. I've been in town for 18 years. You're the only boy I've had. I can't stay. Maybe I'll be back someday.
Now, that single had previously been released before Sonny and Cher had a hit with I Got You, Babe, and Reprise, not wishing to miss out on a hit, and against the artist's wishes it happened, re-released it, giving them another unexpected major hit. Now, with Jack Nitzsche, Sonny Bono also wrote this number one for the Searchers in 1964, Needles and Pins. The Searchers' big hit with that song, which they first heard being performed by Cliff Bennett and the Rebel Rousers on stage at the Star Club in Hamburg, and decided to record it themselves. A month later, Tony Jackson left the Searchers and was replaced by Cliff Bennett's bass player, Frank Allen. So next, a top 10 hit from '66, when Cliff and the Rebel Rousers covered a song from the Beatles album Revolver, Lennon and McCartney's Gotta Get You Into My Life.
I was alone, I took a ride, I didn't know what I would find there. Another road, maybe I could see another kind of man there. Ooh, and I'd certainly see you. Ooh, did I tell you I need you every single day of my life? You didn't run, you didn't lie, you knew I wanted just to hold you. Had you had gone, you knew in time we'd meet again, for I told you. Ooh, you were meant to be near me. Ooh, and I want you to hear me say we'll be together every day. I got to get you into my life. What can I do? What can I be? When I'm with you, I wanna stay there. If I'm true, I'll never leave, and if I do, I know the way there. Ooh, you were meant to be near me. Ooh, and I want you to hear me say we'll be together every day. I got to get you into my life. I got to get you into my life.
Cliff Bennett's group, the Rebel Roses, had taken their name from the 1958 debut top 20 hit by Duane Eddy, Rebel Rouser. And we'll hear him now with his 1960 UK number 2 with a theme tune from a movie starring Dick Clark and Tuesday Weld, Because They're Young. Duane Eddy would probably have made number 1 in the UK with that disc if the top spot hadn't been hogged for 3 weeks by the Shadows' first hit, Apache. However, further down our chart was a vocal version of Because They're Young by another star of the film, James Darren. And here he is now with his third of 4 UK top 40 hits, Her Royal Majesty.
Ladies and gentlemen, presenting Her Royal Majesty. There she goes, Her Royal Majesty. She's the queen that broke my heart. I put her up upon a throne, and now she's left me all alone and crying. There she goes, Her Royal Majesty, wearing my heart for a crown. Oh, let me tell you, everybody, how she made a fool of me. Her Royal Majesty. Oh, now would you believe she acted oh so sweet until she just had me kneeling at her feet. She got me to eat right from her little hand. Her smallest wish was my command. Well, there she goes, Her Royal Majesty, marching off with someone new. Well, I believe she really loved me, but now at last I see I was a king of fools to Her Royal Majesty. Well, I believe she really loved me, but now at last I see I was a king of fools to Her Royal Majesty.
Darren's biggest hit had been with a song called Goodbye Cruel World, and his record company, Colpix, asked Goffin and King if they could come up with a similar sounding song. With their friend and fellow songwriter Barry Mann, they produced Her Royal Majesty. And it brings us to the end of this first chain sequence on Sound of the 60s this week. And so we're taking a break at this point for the Radio 2 news summary, but we'll be back right after it with another chain which we hope will amuse you. This is BBC Radio 2 online, on digital and on 88 to 91 FM.
BBC News at 9 o'clock. This is Ricky Salmon. A 1-year-old boy has been killed by a Rottweiler at a house in West Yorkshire. The attack happened in the yard of a relative's home in Wakefield. From there, Roderick Stewart.
Medical staff battled for several hours to try and save the young boy's life, but his injuries sustained in the attack by the Rottweiler proved too much, and he died in hospital at around 9 p.m. The 1-year-old had been in the yard of a relative's home in Wakefield when the dog turned on him. A police marksman shot the animal dead shortly afterwards. The dog has been described as a family pet. The boy's family are said to be distraught and are being comforted by specially trained police officers. A post-mortem examination on the youngster is due to be carried out this afternoon.
Hundreds of people from all walks of life have been recognised in the New Year's Honours List. There are knighthoods for the former Radio 2 presenter and chat show host Michael Parkinson, Stuart Rose, who turned around Marks and Spencer, and Alistair MacDonald, the head teacher of a school in East London. Kylie Minogue gets an OBE along with the sports presenter Des Lynam. There were also honours for many of the people who battled against the summer floods. The leader of one of Pakistan's opposition parties, Nawaz Sharif, will visit the grave of the murdered former Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto today. Mr Sharif says that elections planned for January can't be free and fair. Ms Bhutto's husband, Asif Ali Zardari, says her will is to be read tomorrow. The first man to be convicted in an American war crimes trial since the Second World War, the Australian David Hicks, has been released from jail in Adelaide under licence. Hicks, who spent more than 5 years at Guantanamo Bay, was transferred to a jail in Australia to finish his sentence after he admitted fighting for the Taliban. He'll be subject to strict control orders, including a dusk-to-dawn curfew, and he will not be allowed to leave Australia. His father, Terry Hicks, gave his reaction to the case.
David's situation was told by the Americans that David had never fired a shot at anyone, he'd never harmed anyone, he'd never blown anything up. And yet they still needed to put him through something. They needed someone out there to plead guilty to something.
New guidance from the government says boys in nursery schools in England should not be discouraged from playing games which involve weapons. It says that creating the right conditions for boys' learning could help them to be more engaged in education. Virgin Trains has blamed the rail regulator for insisting that engineering work must go ahead, which will cause disruption on New Year's Eve. The work will hit the West Coast Main Line, with buses replacing trains between Northampton and Birmingham. And the weather, heavy showers across Scotland and Northern Ireland this morning, mostly dry and bright elsewhere. Scattered showers across Wales and Northern England this afternoon. BBC News, 3 minutes past 9, are next at 10.
And side 2 of this end-of-the-year edition of Sounds of the 60s, which we've subtitled One Thing Leads to Another. Each disc has a connection with the one that follows, and we'll start another sequence now with a song written and recorded by the late Jerry Lordan. Who Could Be Bluer?
Who could be bluer than me? That's someone I'd really like to see. All the things I've planned are castles in the sand, being washed away by the sea. I know I'm feeling sorry for myself. I feel just like I'm sitting on a shelf. Got no friends at all, no one comes to call, and a silver dollar's all my worldly wealth. The sun never shines in my backyard, fate never deals a welcome card. Same old troubles every day, I'm gonna pack my bags and go my way.
boss tells me I'm through. Don't know what I'll do. Things ain't working like they ought to be. Who could be bluer than me? That's someone I'd really like to see. Maybe one fine day things'll go my way. Till then I'm blue as I can be. And who could be bluer than me?
Jerry Lordan had taught himself to play guitar and piano. Then, after a spell in the RAF, he worked in advertising, then tried stand-up comedy and singing, and he began writing songs. And his first hit in 1958 was with one for Anthony Newley, I've Waited So Long. He gave up singing himself after his number one for the Shadows, Apache. Then a couple of years later, he turned out another chart topper for them, Wonderful Land. When they'd recorded that one, the Shadows were unhappy with the end result, feeling something was missing, and the tape hung around in the studios for 9 months. Then, while they were on tour, producer Norrie Paramore added strings and French horns, resulting in a number one for 8 weeks, causing several potential number ones to stall at number 2, including Helen Shapiro's Tell Me What He Said, Del Shannon's Hey Little Girl, and Bruce Chanel's Hey Baby.
I'm gonna make her mine, all mine. Hey, hey, baby, I wanna know if you'll be my girl. When you turned and walked away, that's when I won't say girl. Hey, baby, I wanna know if you'll be my girl.
The harmonica on that single was played by Delbert McClinton, who went on tour with Chanel to promote the record. He was top of a bill that also featured the Big Three and an almost unknown group, the Beatles. John Lennon was so impressed with Delbert's harmonica playing, he asked to be taught how to play himself. And although he later denied the truth of this story, a few months later, Love Me Do was released with its Hey Baby-inspired introduction.
Love me do, oh, love me do. Love me do. You know I love you. I'll always be true. So please, love me do. Oh, love me do. Someone to love, somebody new. Someone to love, someone like you. Love me do. You know I love you. I'll always be true. So please, love me do. Love me do. You know I love you. I'll always be true. So please, love me do. Oh, love me do. Yeah, love me do. Oh, love me do.
The Beatles' first UK hit in 1962, when it only got to number 17. Love Me Do was released much later in the States, where it was their fourth American number one on 3 different labels. The first act in the UK to have any major success with a cover of a Lennon and McCartney song was Billy J. Kramer and the Dakotas, who reached number 2 with their version of Do You Want to Know a Secret from the Beatles' debut album. John Lennon was so happy he gave them a brand new song for their follow-up.
If you ever leave me, I'll be sad and blue. Don't you ever leave me, I'm so in love with you. The birds in the sky would be sad and lonely if they knew that I'd lost my one and only. They'd be sad if you're back to me. The leaves on the trees would be softly sighing if they heard from the breeze that you left me crying. They'd be sad. Don't be bad to me. But I know you won't leave me, 'cause you told me so. And I've no intention of letting you go, just as long as you let me know you won't be bad to me. So the birds in the sky won't be sad and lonely, 'cause they know that I've got my one and only. They'll be glad you're not bad to me. just as long as you let me know you won't be bad to me. So the birds in the sky won't be sad and lonely, 'cause they know that I've got my one and only. They'll be glad you're not bad to me. They'll be glad you're not bad to me.
Bad to Me was a song written by John Lennon while on holiday in Spain with Brian Epstein. It reached number 1 in 63 for Billy J, and ironically was knocked off the top after 3 weeks by the Beatles' own She Loves You. It wasn't until 1966 that a direct cover of a Beatles track reached number 1 in the UK, when the Overlanders achieved their only chart success with this song from Rubber Soul.
These are words that go together well. My Michelle, Michelle, ma belle, sont des mots qui vont très bien ensemble, très bien ensemble. I love you, I love you, I love you. That's all I want to say until I find a way. I will say the only words I know that you'll understand. Michel, ma belle, sont des mots qui vont très bien ensemble, très bien ensemble. I need to, I need to, I need to, I need to make you see, oh, what you mean to me. Until I do, I'm hoping you will know what I mean. I love you. I want you, I want you, I want you. I think you know by now. I'll get to you somehow. Until I do, I'm telling you so you'll understand. Michel, ma belle, sont des mots qui vont très bien ensemble, très bien ensemble. And I will say the only words I know that you'll understand, my Michel.
Now that Overlanders cover of Michelle reached number 1 in 1966, and there was another successful cover of it that also got into the top 20 by David and Jonathan, who were the songwriting team of Roger Cook and Roger Greenaway. So let's hear them now with the top 10 hit they wrote themselves in 1966, Lovers of the World Unite.
Lovers of the world unite. You alone know what is right. People all should feel this way, needing someone every day. Keep the fire of the dreamer's pride. Lovers of the world unite. All good people hear my song. If you feel the world is wrong, all division, nothing shared. Dreams have died and no one cared. It seems that just the young know how, so I ask them, listen now. Lovers of the world unite. You alone know what is right. People all should feel this way, needing someone every day. Keep the fire of the rivers bright, lovers of the world unite. Such a pity, such a shame, man has only he to blame. Give him beauty, give him life, he created a toil and strife. It seems that just the young know how, so I asked them, listen now. The lovers of the world unite, you alone know what is right. People all should feel this way, needing someone every day. Keep the fire of the rivers bright, lovers of the world unite.
The two songwriting Rogers, Greenaway and Cook, who created dozens of hits for other artists, including the Fortunes, the Drifters, Gene Pitney and many, many more. Roger Greenaway also became a member of the semi-comedy act The Pipkins in the early 70s, while Roger Cook formed more credible Blue Mink. So we'll hear them now with their 1969 number 3, Melting Pot.
Take a pinch of white man, wrap it up in black skin, add a touch of blue blood, and a little bitty bit of red Indian boy.
Curly black and king kiss, mixed with yellow chinkies. If you lump it all together, well, you got a recipe for a get-along scene.
Oh, what a beautiful dream.
If it could only come true, you know. What we need is a great big melting pot, big enough to take the world and all it's got. Keep it stirring for 100 years or more, and turn out coffee-colored people by the score.
Rabbis and the friars, bishops and the gurus. You got the Beatles or the sun god.
It's true.
Well, it really doesn't matter what religion you choose. No.
American lady faithful, the Mrs. Graceful. You know the living could be tasteful. We should all get together in a loving machine.
I better call up the queen.
It's only fair that you know. What you need is a great big melting pot, big enough to take the world and all it's got. Keep it stirring for 100 years or more, and turn out coffee-colored people by the score. What we need is a great big melting pot, big enough to take the world
meet those people by the store. Wow! Yeah! Oh, what we need is a great big melting pot. Big enough, big enough, big enough to take the world and all it's got. Keep it stirring for 100 years.
Roger Cook, who formed Blue Mink with top session musicians Alan Parker on guitar, Roger Coolman keyboards, Herbie Flowers on bass, and Barry Morgan drums, and the fabulous Madeline Bell, a female vocalist who'd established herself as one of the key backing singers for Dusty Springfield.
When I said I needed you, you said you would always stay. It wasn't me who changed, but you, and now you've gone away. Don't you see the night? That I have to follow you and beg you to come home. You don't have to say you love me, just be close at hand. You don't have to stay forever, I will understand. Believe me, I can't help but love you. But believe me, I'll never tie you down. Left alone with just a memory. Life seems dead and so unreal. All that's left is loneliness. There's nothing left to
Dusty achieved 15 top 40 hits in the 60s, but that was her only number one. A song she'd heard at the San Remo Song Contest as Lo Che Non Vivo, sung by its composer Pino Donaggio. Bringing a copy home, Dusty asked her friend Vicky Wickham to write an English lyric for it, which she did with Simon Napier Bell. The song returned to the charts on two occasions in the 70s, one of them by The King, and although we can't include that as a sound of the 60s, we can include Elvis, of course, so here he is with the UK number one with a song from his 1962 film Girls, 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 Return to Sender.
Return to sender. Return to sender. I gave a letter to the postman. He put it in his sack. Bright and early next morning, he brought my letter back. She wrote upon it, return to sender. Address unknown. No such number. No such zone. We had a quarrel. I write, I'm sorry, but my letter keeps coming back. So then I dropped it in the mailbox as in a special deed.
Bright and early next morning, it came right back to me.
She wrote upon it.
Return to sender, address unknown. No such person, no such zone. This time I'm gonna take it myself and put it right in her hand. And if it comes back the very next day, then I'll understand.
Writing on it.
Return to sender, address unknown. No such number, no such zone. Return to sender, return to sender, return to sender.
A song from an Elvis film originally planned to be called Gumbo Yaya, a Creole saying for everybody talks at once. Elvis had the good fortune in his movie career to appear with many beautiful leading ladies, including Anne Margaret, Tuesday Weld, and in Speedway, Frank Sinatra's little girl, Nancy.
Right about now you'll find me on the highway, pointing my thumb at all the cars going my way. Round about here you'll see me get a little weary. I got no one left to keep me warm and cheery. But the thought of coming home keeps me going strong, keeps me holding on, singing la da 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 di da, singing la da 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 di da. All the boys in the city worked on hard and pretty, singing la da 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 di da. Right about now I taste that old home cooking, smacking my lips, I see it, not even looking. Right about here I hear my baby laughing, and I'm losing my mind, having the thoughts I'm having. But the thought of coming home keeps me going strong, keeps me holding on, singing la da 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 da, singing la da 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 da. All the boys in the city work on hard and pretty, singing la da 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 da. Right about here on straight the waves come with, and I run like a rabbit, I can't let him miss me. The stranger asks me where's my destination, so I tell him he says sorry, wrong direction. But the thought of coming home keeps me going strong, and it keeps me moving on, singing la da 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 da, singing la da 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 da. All the boys in the city work hard and pretty, singing la da 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 da. Come on and sing now, la da 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 da. Sing out the chorus, la da 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 da.
After a number of hits written and produced by the late Lee Hazelwood, Nancy Sinatra met up on a trip to the UK with composer Kenny Young. who played her the Highway song, which she then recorded and scored a UK top 20 hit with it. One of Kenny Young's early successes was with a song he'd written with Artie Resnick that has become a standard recorded by many acts, not least the Rolling Stones. But the original hit in 1964 was by the Drifters.
Oh, when the sun beats down and burns the tar up on the roof, and your shoes get so hot, you wish your tired feet were fireproof. Under the boardwalk, down by the sea, yeah, on a blanket with my baby's where I'll be.
Under the boardwalk,
out of the sun,
under the boardwalk,
we'll be having some fun.
under the boardwalk,
People walking above,
under the boardwalk,
we'll be making love.
under the boardwalk,
Boardwalk. From the park you hear the happy sounds of a carousel. You can almost taste the hot dogs and french fries they sell. Under the boardwalk, down by the sea, yeah. On a blanket with my baby, that's where I'll be.
under the boardwalk,
Out of the sun,
under the boardwalk,
we'll be having some fun.
under the boardwalk,
People walking above,
under the boardwalk,
we'll be making love.
under the boardwalk, boardwalk.
On a blanket with my baby, that's where I'll be.
Under the boardwalk,
Out of the sun,
under the boardwalk,
we'll be having some fun.
under the boardwalk,
People walking above,
under the boardwalk,
we'll be falling in love.
under the boardwalk, boardwalk.
Composed by Kenny Young, that was the Drifters' biggest American hit, featuring lead vocalist Johnny Moore, who in 1960 replaced Rudy Lewis, who died unexpectedly on the morning of the recording of Under the Boardwalk. Lewis had himself been a replacement for Benny King in 1960, when he left the group for a solo career, which began in the States with this.
There is a rose in Spanish Harlem, a red rose up in Spanish Harlem. It is a special one, it's never seen the sun. It only comes out when the moon is on the run and all the stars are gleaming. It's growing in the street right up through the concrete, but soft and sweet and rainy. There is a rose in Spanish Harlem, a red rose up in Spanish Harlem. With eyes as black as coal, that looks down in my soul and starts a fire there, and then I lose that grows and watch her as she grows in my garden.
There's a rose in Spanish Harlem.
La 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 la.
There's a rose in Spanish Harlem.
La 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 la.
Benny King's debut American solo hit was with that song written by Jerry Lieber with producer Phil Spector, responsible for hits by the Righteous Brothers, the Ronettes, the Crystals, heard on side one today, and Ike and Tina Turner.
When I was a little girl, I had a rag doll, only doll I've ever owned. Now I love you just the way I love that rag doll, but only now my love has grown, and it gets stronger in every way, and it gets deeper. Let me say, and it gets higher day by day. And do I love you, my oh my? Yeah, river deep, mountain high, yeah. If I lost you, would I cry? Oh, I love you, baby, 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 baby. When you were a young boy, did you have a puppy that always followed you around? Well, I'm gonna be as faithful as that puppy. No, I'll never let you down. 'Cause it goes on like a river flows, and it gets bigger, baby, and heaven knows, and it gets sweeter, baby, as it grows. And do I love you, my oh my? Yeah, river deep, mountain high, yeah, yeah. If I lost you, would I cry? Oh, I love you, baby, baby, I love you, baby, like a flower loves the spring. And I love you, baby, like a robin loves to sing. And I love you, baby, like a schoolboy loves his bag. And I love you, baby, river deep, mountain high.
A huge hit in Britain where it reached number 3 in 1966, River Deep Mountain High only managed a feeble 88 in America, where it had cost £12,000 to produce in 66. That would have been expensive for an album, let alone a single. The tension between Ike and Tina was getting ferocious, and a tour in 1969 looked like the beginning of the end for the couple. This tour also featured B.B. King and was headlined by the Rolling Stones.
I met a gin so borrowed queen
A number one in the US and the UK for the Rolling Stones in 1969, Honky Tonk Women had entered the British charts on the 9th of July, just 4 days after Brian Jones had been found dead in the swimming pool of his farm in Hartfield. His place in the band was taken by Mick Taylor, who'd played on stage with John Mayall's Blues Breakers for one night when Eric Clapton had been unable to make the gig, and the band was so impressed with Mick that they asked him to join them permanently when Peter Green left to form Fleetwood Mac.
I got a black magic woman. I got a black magic woman. Yes, I got a black magic woman. Got me so blind I can't see that she's a black magic woman and she's trying to make a devil out of me. Don't turn your back on me, baby. Don't turn your back on me, baby. Yes, don't turn your back on me, baby. You're messing around with your tricks. Don't turn your back on me, baby, 'cause you might just break up my magic stick. Got your spell on me, baby. You got your spell on me, baby. Yes, you got your spell on me, baby. Turning my heart into stone. I need you so bad, magic woman, I can't leave you alone. Yes, I need you so bad. I need you, darling. I need you, darling. Yes, I want you to love me. I want you to love me. I want you to love me. Oh, yeah. Oh, baby. Yes, I need your love.
Fleetwood Mac with Black Magic Woman, recorded in 1968 for their album English Rose, and revived in 1970 by Santana, who in 1977 had further success with another British cover, She's Not There, which had been a number 12 back in 1964 in the UK for the Zombies.
Well, no one told me about her, the way she lied. Well, no one told me about her, how many people cried. But it's too late to say you're sorry. How would I know? Why should I care? Please don't bother trying to find her. She's not there. Well, let me tell you about the way she looked. The way she acted, the color of her hair. Her voice was soft and cool, her eyes were clear and bright, but she's not there. Well, no one told me about her. What could I do? Well, no one told me about her, though they all knew. But it's too late to say you're sorry. How would I know? Why should I care? Please don't bother trying to find her. She's not there. should I care? Please don't bother trying to find her. She's not there. Well, let me tell you about the way she looked, the way she acted, the color of her hair. Her voice was soft and cool, her eyes were clear and bright, but she's not there.
The Zombies hail from St Albans and won a competition with the prize of a contract with Decca, for whom that was their debut single, even more successful in the States, where it got to number 2. And we've noticed that the Zombies were the first of only 2 vocal acts whose name began with the letter Z to make the UK top 40 in the 60s. The other one, at the end of the decade, was this number 1 on both sides of the Atlantic in the year 2525 by the duo Zager and Evans.
In the year 2525, if man is still alive, if woman can survive, they may find. In the year 35, ain't gonna need to tell the truth, tell no lies. Everything you think, do, and say is in the pill you took today. In the year 45, ain't gonna need your teeth, won't need your eyes. You won't find a thing to chew, nobody's gonna look at you. In the year 55, your arms are hanging limp at your sides. Your legs got nothing to do, some machine doing that for you. In the year 65, ain't gonna need no husband, won't need no wife. You pick your son, pick your daughter too, from the bottom of a long glass tube. Whoa, whoa. In the year 7510, if God's a-comin', he ought to make it by then. Maybe he'll look around himself and say, guess it's time for the judgment day. In the year 8510, God is gonna shake his mighty head. He'll either say, I'm pleased where man has been, or tear it down and start again. Whoa, whoa. In the year 95, I'm kind of wondering if man is gonna be alive. He's taken everything this old earth can give, and he ain't put back nothing. Whoa, whoa. Now it's been 10,000 years, man has cried a billion tears for what he never knew. Now man's reign is through, but through eternal night, the twinkling of starlight, so very far away, maybe it's only yesterday. In the year 2525, if man is still alive, if woman can survive, they may find. In the year
Zager and Evans, number 1 from 1969, bringing to an end this one-off special of 60s sounds, with each record linked, albeit tenuously, with the next one after it. We hope you enjoyed Phil the Collector's concept, which I have to say I thought was brilliant, and we'll return to the normal format next Saturday. So this is your old mate Brian Matthews saying that's a lot for this week. See you next year. Mark Lamar sitting in for Jonathan Ross follows the news. This is BBC Radio 2, online, on digital and on 88 to 91 FM.